G'day guys, it's Joe from Accentuate Personal Training here in Stones Corner. I just wanted to have a quick chat to you today about trigger pointing, what it is, why we should do it, how to do it, and then a couple of common areas that you might find those trigger points in for yourself. So first up, what is trigger pointing? So commonly referred to as like a tight spot in the muscle or a knot in the muscle. Simply put, it's a small area of the muscle fibers that are contracted and not releasing from each other. So that then gives you a little bit of a sore area, maybe in the hips, the glutes, chest, wherever it may be. Why we should trigger point? Essentially, the reason we should trigger point is to increase the range of motion through those muscle fibers, try and lengthen those muscle fibers back out. That way when we go through exercise, maybe doing squats or whatever it may be, we can generate as much force as possible to try and lift whatever weight we're lifting. How we should trigger point? What we want to do is we want to try and locate those tight spots in the muscle, the knots in the muscle. We essentially want to put the ball into that tight area, find that tight area. We want to just sit on that area for about 30 to 60 seconds, and what that's going to do is it's going to place pressure onto that knot, onto those muscle fibers. What that's going to do is it's going to disperse the blood away from that knot. After the 30 seconds, 60 seconds, you should start to feel that muscle release a little bit. Then we take the trigger point away or the ball away from that knot. It's going to introduce a lot of blood, a lot of nutrients into the fibers. It's going to then try and release off those fibers as well. So now I'll just run through a couple of common areas where the majority of people feel these tight areas, which is usually the glutes. So we just grab a trigger ball. You've got a couple of different trigger balls here. We've got the smooth trigger ball, and then we've got the spiky one as well. It doesn't matter too much which one you choose, as long as it's got some amount of hardness to it. It doesn't want to be too soft because you are trying to put a bit of pressure onto those muscles. So real easy, real common one in the glutes. We want to get the ball. We want to put it under our glute here on the side. We want to try and just roll around a little bit until we find that trigger point. Once we find that trigger point, then get you to put that same leg over the knee. If you can't do that, put your left leg a little bit further out. From there, find that trigger point and just let it sit there for about 30 to 60 seconds. You may find some discomfort here because you are putting pressure on their point. However, it should start to release off after that time. So from there, another common point is the hip flexors. Obviously, we sit all day, or a lot of people sit all day for their jobs and things like that. The hip flexor becomes quite short and tight. So we'll just get that ball again, place it under our hip. Where we're looking for is, you'll feel your hip bone. We just want to go a little bit below that into the muscle. So put the ball there, get down onto the floor. We find a spot. There's one for me. And then we hold that for 30 to 60 seconds as well until it releases off. Another common area would be the calves. The calves get beat up a lot because obviously we do a lot of walking, running, cycling, whatever you may do. Again, we find that spot in the calf. You might even want to put a little bit more pressure onto the calf by putting the leg over the top. And then again, just holding for that time until it releases off. Last area, upper back. So for this one, we've obviously got our spine that runs down the middle. We've got our shoulder blades on either side there. What we're looking for is the ball to sit between the shoulder blade and the spine in the muscle there. So we get the ball, we put it on the floor, we roll back onto that spot, roll the ball around a little bit until we find the area, and then from there just want to try and relax and let our body sink into the ball. Now, doing this, we want to try and do this before training. The reason again is because it increases blood flow to the muscle, it increases your range of motion, all that sort of jazz. And then it's also going to help a little bit with recovery afterwards because you've got so much blood flowing into those muscles and you no longer have those tight spots in the muscles. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy your fitness journey and see if you can pick up one of these balls from downstairs at the physio. See ya.